What's up? Welcome back to another video. This is a video that I've been meaning to make for a very long time. I've had lots of ideas for videos, but every time I've got the time to make a video, I just go fishing and I just try to catch fish, and that's the video I make. Anyway, I'm putting a little bit of extra effort in to bring you a different video, and it's on a topic that has been a real strong theme, especially in my Instagram inbox. People DM me, coming to New Zealand, what flies should I bring, what flies work, this, that, and the next thing. So this video is going to be top 10 flies to fish in New Zealand. A couple of disclaimers though is the true top 10, the true top 10 would change with the time of year and also the location. New Zealand's it's not as big as the US or anything, but it's still a relatively large country, and so if I'm in different areas, the top 10 would change. So this top 10 is the flies that I've been using here in the Central North Island a lot. So probably 95% of the fish you've seen me catch in the last 10 videos have been caught on these 10 flies. Something else I should mention is I don't actually subscribe to, like, this fly works, this one doesn't, rah-de-rah-de-rah. New Zealand fish typically aren't that fussy. They're not like, I know some rivers in the States and places can get, you get right down into that match the hatch kind of thing, and that's what you need to do to catch those fish. But here in New Zealand, generally, if you present it well, and it's a likely size, shape, colour, they'll eat it. More than worrying about what's in your fly box before you make a trip here, I'd really concentrate on accuracy and presentation, because the fish only gets to see one fly anyway, and it has to be good, otherwise he's not going to eat it. So what you tie on isn't as important as how you deliver it and fish it. That is by far the most important element. But with all that being said, I do have some favourites, and I go back to them and I start with them, and then I've got flies that I change to if I feel like it's not working. But yeah, so let's just get straight into it. I'm going to start with the real basics. This little bugger here, which is I know you can't see it. This is the 101, so this is a heavy fly. It's probably closest to a stonefly pattern or a very large pheasant tail pattern, but it's just a large fly that's heavy, so it sinks. I use this fly a lot, to sink my point fly. So this is the heavy one that sinks everything, but this gets eaten probably more than 50% of the time. This is the fly that gets eaten, so it's a real winner, and I wouldn't leave home without it. This next fly is, initially when I first got these and looked at them and started fishing them, I didn't like them. I thought they were a bit crazy. I don't know why I keep showing you. I know you can't see it when I hold it up, but cue the photo, the little image of it. The Prince UV, so it's got white goose bites and a UV sort of body on it, black goose bite tail, and a bit of a black something or other collar. And then it has a reasonable sized tungsten bead on it as well, probably 1.8 or 2 mil, somewhere around there. In slightly dirtier water, or especially if I've been blind fishing and searching for fish, this thing has caught me so many fish this season. It's been it's been a really productive fly. Would not leave home without it. I also fish it under a dry dropper to sighted fish as well, and they love it. They eat it quite happily. The next one is a fly called pole position. Pretty much fished exactly the same way and same strategy and everything with the Prince UV, but I'll probably more often than not start with this one, and if it's not working, move to the Prince UV, but this is quite often more than enough. It's essentially a pheasant tail with some sparkly wing bits and a red bead, but it really does do the damage. This next one is called a Hoover, and it's a pheasant tail variant. It's a really basic fly. It's a real guide's tie. It's a pheasant tail pheasant tail body, copper rib, black seals fur collar, and then a copper or black bead, probably still 1.8 or 2 mil, and tungsten. This is pretty much the fly that I start out with underneath the dry fly. These last 3 flies I've shown you, I fish in sizes 18, 16 and 14. This is the first dry fly I've shown you, which is, it's a blowfly. It's a foam fly. It's tied with a foam cutout. It's got a sparkly blue body, which is obviously a good attractor. I don't know what the wing post material or wing material is, rubber legs. This thing, I've caught more fish on this year than I did off the top entire last season. This thing has been slaying sighted fish and also just searching out likely looking water. I've had at least a dozen fish just come out of nowhere and smoke this thing this year. It is, whenever I tie on a dry or a sort of a searching pattern, or I'm trying to hang a deeper, slightly heavier nymph, this is the one I'm going to, and it is proving absolutely deadly. This one here is It's essentially the same pattern as the blowfly, but it's tied a lot larger. It doesn't have the blue body, it's got a sort of an olive black, and it's the cicada pattern. And this thing also has been, I mean, this will hold up a huge, you can fish quite a deep nymph underneath it. It'll hold up quite a bit of weight, and also fish love to eat it. So before the cicadas even started hatching, I caught 3 or 4 fish on this, just searching water. And I wasn't even trying to get them to eat it. It was water that was kind of in between an indicator rig and a dry dropper rig. So I just tied on the biggest, floatiest fly I had and some really deep nymphs, and I had 3 fish in one day come up and eat this thing. So all of those flies there are category 3 flies. If you don't know what category 3 is, I'll leave a link in the description, but it's a local guide here named Sean Andrews. He's probably one of New Zealand's top guides. All these ties are his guide ties that are now produced commercially. They've all got really funky names and a pretty cool story behind how they all came about, and they're all tied on really quality hooks. I haven't bent any out or snapped any yet. They've just been bulletproof hooks, and the patterns have been so productive for me. It's been unreal. So check the link in the description if you're interested in those flies. They're available in 2 shops in the US. I can't remember what they're called though. So these next 4 flies are not category 3, they're just regular old flies, and they're famous the world over pretty much. This one is the Adam's Parachute. This one's size 14 I believe, but this here size 14, 16 to sighted fish that are sitting high in the water this is the first thing I'll ever tie on if I come across a fish like that. You can actually, if you fish it well, you can actually hold up still a reasonable amount of weight underneath one of these. You have to set up a really good drift, and they still will hold up quite a bit, so you can dry dropper underneath these things as well. This one here is the Royal Wolf, which is another world famous fly. I've been fishing this thing for years in the high country of the South Island, searching out bubbly water for rainbows and things. Fished well, it'll hold up a lot of weight as well, but this is a really good pattern for just, if you can't really see a fish but you know there should be some there and they should be looking up, this is a great pattern to tie on and try search out. Hang a nymph under it and search otherwise sighted fish. I've even caught them cruising lake edges on this thing. It's just, you shouldn't have to listen to me to know that this is one hell of a fly. This one's a little big. This is like a size 14 as well. Generally I'll fish this in a 16 or an 18, but it's an unweighted pheasant tail, flashback pheasant tail. Really basic quick tie pheasant tail body, copper peacock herl with a bit of flashback, and then some more pheasant tail tips as little wings. This thing, I'll put floating on this and fish it in the film and other flies that are similar to it. It's still water, a really light cast. It'll sit on the surface, and as your fish approaches and you feel like your fish is in the right spot, you just give it a little twitch and that'll break it through the surface film and it'll start to sink. And it's a super cool way to deliver a fly. I don't know, I'm sure other people do it, but it's something that I learned fishing in the high country of the South Island. Cruising fish, little hairs here, unweighted, a little bit of floatant, get it to sit in the film and then twitch it through as the fish comes by. Just magic. Also, I mean, you just hang it under a fly, fish it. You can fish flies this big at the bottom of a 12-foot deep pool underneath that 101. Fish love them, they'll just have them all the time. This last fly I've lost, but it's a copper john. I fish them in a red body and a traditional copper body. It's kind of the fly, I'll fish it anywhere first up as well, but generally it's kind of a fly, if I get refusals, if I know I've been refused or the fish should have eaten it or something, yeah, that's when it matters to make a fly change, and it should just be, still doesn't matter what you tie on, it should just be different enough to the fish to not think it's the same thing. But yeah, like I say, those first 6 flies I believe were category 3. The other 4 were just regular old off-the-shelf flies. I don't even know what company ties them. It is far more important your accuracy and delivery and how you fish the fly rather than what you actually tie on. It doesn't matter a whole lot. I don't think the fish actually care that much. If it's presented well, they're probably going to eat it. Yeah, so link to category 3 flies in the description below. Stock up on those if you come to New Zealand, because well, I know they work. If your fly shop doesn't have them, ask for them. Tell them to get them, because they are bulletproof and really productive patterns. If I had to pick 2 of those flies if I was coming to New Zealand and I could only bring 2 flies, it would be the Adam's Parachute and the pheasant tail, the basic flashback pheasant tail. You catch every fish in New Zealand on those 2 flies. Alright, that's it. This has been a hell of a lot different. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section if you did. I don't know how long this video is going to end up. Hopefully it's not too long for you. That's all I got for you. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want more videos like this, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to try my best to make them happen. Subscribe, click the little bell, get notified every time I post a video. Alright, see you in the next one. Peace. I think I nailed that.